Okay, here we are, episode some number doesn't really matter, but we're in season 3 here. Um, and I'm joined today by the brothers, identical twins, right? You guys are from the same egg.
Yes. Originally, yes.
Originally, yes. Cool.
Yeah.
And you guys are on tour right now. Where are you guys at?
We are. Oh, go ahead. We're actually not on tour. We're at a festival that we go to every year, called the
Oh,
Kerrville
cool.
Folk Festival. So we're just enjoying ourselves actually and trading songs with a bunch of our favorite songwriters.
Amazing. And
Yeah.
where's that?
Yeah.
Where's that festival? Where are you guys situated right now?
It's about an hour west of Kerrville, Texas. What? Did I say Kerrville? I meant San Antonio. A town called Kerrville, about an hour west of San Antonio in the Hill Country.
Awesome. And how
Yeah.
many are you guys doing one set during this festival? Like, have you played yet, or are you to play soon?
We played. We played the past couple of years, and we're not booked this year, but we just come for fun. So we go whether we're booked or
Cool.
not. And
Right on.
yeah, so we're not playing this year. I'm sitting in with a friend on cello, but that's about it.
Cool. Cool. Well, guys, I love to kind of just start off by like kind of the origins of where music started to be important in your lives, and I found this pretty interesting. That your dad has this amazing record collection, and that was a little bit of a nucleus that started you guys getting into music so much. Could you guys elaborate on that story at all?
I think it's important to correct you and say that he didn't have an amazing record collection. He had about 4 records.
Okay.
but we listen to them all the time and wear them out. And one was an Everly Brothers record. One was the Kingston Trio, Paul Simon, and the Beatles. It was more than 4, but it was basically those 4 acts, and then that just kind of gave us what you might call our foundation. And our mother was really she's an old she was in the there's a lot of musicals surrounding our house, so it's a very
Okay.
very musical upbringing with a very limited canon.
Right. But a solid
Yeah.
canon nonetheless. I mean, that's
Yes,
some
very solid.
pretty classic records to be growing up on. And
Yes.
how did you guys like find music? Like, how did you guys start to figure out that, I'm going to play an instrument, I want to write songs, I want to, maybe eventually perform? Like, what were your beginning moments of coming into being musicians?
When we were younger, like before we were even speaking, our first words were also our first songs. I think we were just singing along.
Mm.
So I think it was pretty obvious. And then, parents want their children to be happy and want to encourage them. So it just, one thing led to another, and we were just musical. We were always drawn to it. So it was kind of an obvious thing. And I know that a lot of parents and a lot of musicians that are my contemporaries and whatnot,
Mm-hmm.
Parents don't want their children to grow up and be touring musicians. They want them to be lawyers and doctors. Although our parents were just, really encouraging about the whole situation. So it was kind of an easy path. Although the songwriting didn't really happen until we came to this place, the Kerrville Folk Festival.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
We were just around so many songwriters. We were playing music. We were instrumentalists, but we could talk plenty about the music that inspired us. But when we got here, there were so many songwriters, and we got into the idea of what a song was, the craft of songwriting, the concept of sharing, and the community that's around it, especially in Texas. Stories about Towns Van Zandt and Guy Clark hanging out, and people just living in Austin, writing songs and doing it. Willie Whalen and the Boys, that whole thing. It's really alive here. Really underground, but it's alive. And so we just got really, really into that, and are very much a part of it now. Yeah.
Right.
So that kind of got us into the songwriting thing.
Cool. And you guys both studied music, though, eh? At university, you both are
Yeah.
are session musicians, as you were saying before, that was your
Yeah.
beginning phases. Were you guys writing songs when you're playing in other bands? Like, were you crafting songs that were from you during those times when you were just kind of like a part of a band and not a band yourselves?
I was. Yeah, me too. Yeah. But
Mhm.
not until our mid-20s. It's like we said, not until after college, and I guess that's when we both started playing guitar and um
Hmm.
branching out a little from our, you know, jazz and classical roots.
Right, right. Oh, that's interesting. And like, what were your beginning songs like? Like, if I asked, like, David, what were Adam's songs like when he first started writing them that he would show to you? What were they? What were they like? What did you think of them when he first presented them to you?
Well, he was in a band called Green Mountain Grass, so you can go listen to that band and hear a bunch of
Sure.
his songs and the
Okay.
stuff that he wrote with the band. And they were all really like poppy, and they were great. They were entertaining. Adam's a very entertaining writer. He's the one that's like uh got if it's catchy, he wrote it.
Nice,
And
nice.
so that's a lot of
And
the songs. Like it was instant. They were good and they were instant. Yeah, we definitely have our own unique
cool.
songwriting voices. Yeah, like on the new album.
Yeah.
My main creations were Brown Dog and the Cedar Branch song and Morgantown. Those are a little bit more upbeat, country, tongue in cheek. Yeah, and David's more in his feelings. I think. Yeah, he's more the Cancerian. Yeah, of the two of us.
Right. And what began this voyage together? Like, what were some of the occasions or the nucleus for saying, all right, let's start this together.
We're identical twins. So
right. Same egg.
that was kind of the incepting moment, to be honest. Yeah, there was a few moments we tried to do some stuff with friends um and we were like, oh, we got to take some time, and I don't know if we're gonna be able to get along because it's not just playing music; it's so much more, and there's
Right.
so many opportunities to get mad at each other and be brothers. So there was just kind of a moment when we were living in New York City, and Adam was having a very bleak looking winter. We just decided we wanted to start making money. Yeah, the day that the dollar signs popped into our eyes, we were like,
Right.
let's cash in. Yeah. And now look at us. We're in a 9-foot trailer in the dirt. Thank God.
And just attending an event, right? Not even playing in it, just for the
totally.
pure joy of community and music and fun together.
Yes.
I mean,
yeah,
that's amazing.
yeah. But all jokes aside, we were I think I came up with a name and called Adam. I was like, what about the Brother Brothers? We'll be like a kind of a bluegrass band and blah da da da. And he immediately just called in all his favors with all the people he'd been playing with over the years and booked us a tour, and it just started rolling from there.
Wow.
And we didn't necessarily become a bluegrass band, but that was the inception. Right.
But Adam, is that what you're alluding to? Is that's where you start seeing the dollar signs? Like when you guys first started performing together, there was a big interest. There was a buzz already about the two of you coming together and
I think
being in a
people
band
were very
together.
excited. I mean, we were in a musical community in New York City, and we were individuals in it. And so the day that we got together, I think the word spread that Adam and David are going to play a show together, and it was a great show. It was like I think there was some excitement, So it was kind of easy to go from there, just because the people that we were around and the people that we knew knew both of us, and they were like, "Yeah, about freaking time y'all did this." Yeah, but we had to make sure that we weren't going to kill each other,
Right.
Yeah. Right. So it took a little bit of age, wisdom, and maturity.
Right. And Adam, what does David bring to the mix? Like, I mean, other than being a brother and an identical twin on top of it all, like, what does he bring to Brother Brothers that is uniquely him that nobody else could bring?
That's kind of a tough question, isn't it? That's just I think it's the good looks, really. Mostly.
Right. So his good looks I mean, you guys each write your own songs, or do you write together
We
collaboratively?
yeah. So I mean, that question's really honestly the easiest thing to answer and the most impossible thing, because you could ask that about anybody in any band, and obviously they bring themselves. So
Right.
obviously he brings himself to this band, and then we may look alike, but we're not the same person. So
For sure.
he brings himself, and he's kind of the principal songwriter of the band. Although the thing we've been saying mostly about this album, which is the thing that we're most excited about,
Hmm.
and the thing we're most proud of, is this is the first time that we wrote a lot of these songs collaboratively, and we worked out a lot of these songs collaboratively. So it's actually the most, the most honest version of the Brother Brothers working together. And
Hmm.
honestly, I feel like it's the best. It only benefited the music and the
Right.
writing, the fact that we collaborated. And
Right.
now we're in a phase where we're like, oh wow, we actually have a band. It's not David and Adam harmonizing and Adam and David harmonizing. It's we have a thing, and now David can write a song that doesn't need to be a Brother Brothers song. He can go have his own thing. I can go have my own thing, and then we can also come together for the Brother Brothers.
Yeah.
Now we have
Right.
a unique voice as the two of us, and then we can also have our own individual voices. It's pretty exciting.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
And what does that process look like? Like, if you got down to brass tacks about it, like,
It's so
how do you
different.
collaborate, still being kind of like you have your own things, your own lives. Like, how do you?
Yeah.
How does that collaboration work?
I call my therapist, and they make an appointment with David's lawyer.
Oh man.
And then they work it out, and then they send things back and forth, and eventually they get down to me, and
I
It all works out.
yeah, I think some people they'll just go and rent a cabin and write an album over the course of a week or two, or but so far every single song that we've written together has been completely different. Like, I might send him a voice recording of something I'm working on, and he'll send some stuff back or with ideas, and then sometimes we'll just be sitting and let's just play some. I've been working on this banjo part. Let me just play that for you, and I'll sing something, and then all of a sudden, off to the races, the
Right.
song's getting written.
yeah,
And then sometimes it's just like,
that line's stupid. Let's do this instead.
yeah, sometimes it comes out of comes with a lot of toil and talking about our dynamic and working together, and it takes
Right.
all day with a lot of therapy sessions too, so it's been different
Right.
every time. So we don't have a process yet, and I kind of hope we never do, because I feel like it's going to keep it fresh.
I
Yeah.
would say that we thrive in editing each other's songs. We're not really good at finishing each other's musical or musical sentences, but we're
Yeah.
really good at either editing or boosting, or just throwing in an idea that lets the principal person move on.
Right.
So we're good at
Right.
ending each other's blocks or fine tuning.
Yeah.
Right. Interesting. And are your
Yeah.
voices like? Can you There's. I mean, the harmonies are outstanding. Like, does
Thank
that take planning and like? All right, you got to
Oh,
go a
yeah.
little higher here, and you got to tweak that here, and okay, I'm going to
Definitely.
come in here. Like, how do those conversations take place? I mean, are the lawyers still involved in these processes, or are you able
No.
to kind of get through it together?
I think our rule is basically there's always the simple way, and then there's the way too complex way, and threading the needle with you don't want this just to be like a regular harmony in parallel and whatever. Oh, maybe what if you like came down here and we could cross
Right.
there, and what if we instead of just being on the third, you went down to the seventh, and or just held that note flat. All these different things, like what is not just sounds good, but also is interesting. And when it comes to harmonies, there's so many different options, and making a melody out of attempting to make a melody out of the harmony.
And a lot of times our litmus test is like, we'll try the first thing that comes to mind, and then we'll try about 5 different things as well. And whichever one the two of us like the most is the one we'll do.
It's really simple, but yet complex.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's definitely planned and definitely takes some work.
Right.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But we can stand behind basically every musical choice that we've made, for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I imagine being brothers facilitates that? Because you got, like most bands that I talk to, they say you got to have a friendship there, or the thing's going to implode eventually, because it's personalities and emotion,
Totally.
and you might not give a shit about that person, but because you have this blood bond, um, how do you guys deal with the highs and the lows of having to deal with each other so much while you're touring
I
or
th-
writing
I think
or?
Yeah.
I think we do a lot of work to protect our sibling relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have our musical relationship, and we have our relationship as identical twin brothers. And we don't ever want the sibling relation, the musical relationship, no matter how that goes, we don't want it to affect, or destroy any sort of familial relationship. So I think we both have a
Mm-hmm.
big awareness of when those two start to overlap, and then we kind of
Right.
pull back. A lot of times mostly it's I was joking about money before, but there is money involved in the music that we
Sure.
make. And when that's usually the part that we have to be like, okay, guy, let's pay attention. Let's make sure that this money doesn't get in the way of our relationship. So
Right.
we split everything pretty evenly, and
Yeah.
have a lot of conversations to make sure that we're not overstepping or understepping, or
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah.
Right. No, it's fascinating. Well,
Yeah.
what does success mean to you guys? Like with this, with brothers, like what would success mean to, like, what is that defined as for you guys?
Oh, well,
I can answer.
okay, go for it.
I think that the concept of success is a little dragon that we're
Mhm.
all chasing, because it's just a concept, and it's a concept that isn't in the present, it's in the future.
Mm.
And I feel like anybody who has an established success, I feel like the definition of that is constantly changing depending on where you are and how you're feeling.
Right.
So it's kind of an unattainable thing. So the thing that we're trying to do right now actively is trying not to define or answer that question, but
Mm.
trying to continue to feel identified, and I feel like this music that we're making is aligns with who we are and who we want to be at that moment.
Right.
And the more that we can get that to align at every moment of our lives, which is quite difficult, but
Mhm.
we're trying to get it to align with every aspect of our lives, so that we can be comfortable, still have a sibling relationship, still make music, step away if we need to, come back into it when we're ready.
Right.
That's we're starting to do that. So we don't even
That's
think
cool.
about success.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, well said, man.
Success
Well
is
said.
such a weird word because, yeah,
Mhm.
happiness and success are so often tied in. And some of the most successful people I've ever, what I would call successful, are they're miserable. So
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
I don't know what success is. Being rich, maybe, but we're not rich. So
Right.
I don't know.
Well, I heard another podcast that you guys were on where you were talking about feeling valued, that what you're doing has a value to it. And that really
Yeah.
struck with me, like that if that's happening, it gives you that momentum to want to, carry on, rather than
Yeah.
feeling like your music's falling on dead ears. But
Yeah.
when it becomes valued, people, you feed off of that, and it helps you to kind of carry on. I
Yeah.
thought that
Totally.
was really smart observation that you guys have had.
Oh, thank
I
you.
mean,
Yeah, that's been our
you
trip
guys have
lately.
been, yeah. I mean, you guys have been doing this your whole lives, really, right? That
Long time. Yeah.
and what would you, if you were to look at your catalog, how do you think your music has changed over time? From your first release, I think it was your EP, your first one, yeah, Tugboats EP,
Yeah.
2017, guys. So this is, we're putting some time between it. Your latest one just came out April 2024.
Yeah.
What's changed the most, do you think, through your catalog over those times?
I think that there's a process of rec- recording and falling in love with that process is important, but you know, technology has developed and a lot of people have studios and that sort of thing. But like when we first recorded our Tugboats EP, we just didn't have any money. And we were just like, we got to get this album out. We're going to go open for Sarah Rose. We got to have something to sell and promote, So we we actually got a really amazingly notable producer now. He was just getting started, but his name's Andrew Sarlo, and he put these just microphones on our instruments, and we did it really raw, but we did it in a day. And I listened back to it. I was like, it sounds great. He did such a good job, but the stress that we were feeling and the naivete that we had in the studio compared to what the January album is. We spent a month in this beautiful studio with an incredible engineer and an incredible producer, and we were just fully realized our musical potential in a studio setting. The difference between those two things and the comfort and the amount of intention that we put into what we were actually making and the planning and the is so different. And I really value that experience, the experience of understanding what goes into a studio recording and the possibilities being endless. And, knowing that if you do it in a day, if you only have a day to record and you only have a limited set of microphones and a limited set of compressors and that sort of thing, it's going to sound a lot different and it's going to be a much different experience. So doing it right and doing it in a way that like you're just living, that's so special. Right. And that's how it's developed through time. Would you agree?
Cool. Yeah. I also think that, there's a lot of similarities between the music that we're creating from then and from now. And I don't know that there's any sort of intentional thing that we've changed or grown. All we're trying to do is just learn how to express ourselves better and better. And as we're doing this together, we're also learning how to do it together better. Right. That's really, to me, the only thing that's changed. But I mean, when I listen back to the Tugboats EP or Some People I Know album, that I feel very identified still with that music. And I think the songs are still. Personally, I kind of wish we hadn't recorded those albums so we could do it now, because I think we do it better. But I don't know. But also, I'm stoked.
Yeah. No, it's a cool observation though. Thinking about doing an old album again too, like just seeing how that would transform and stuff. But it sounds like too, you guys are really becoming into your own as a band together, which I really feel that maturity on this record of
thanks.
That you have grown together, and kind of like what you were saying, Adam, that you know each other. Well, that sounds stupid, but you're learning each other's strengths and feeding off of one another, and it really comes across well.
Together. We're growing together.
That's really cool. Really cool.
Yeah.
Well, just to kind of wrap this up, guys, again, thanks so much for joining in. I've really enjoyed your stories and talking with you guys. What's 2024 looking like for you guys? Like, so you're at this show now where you're just enjoying and seeing your people. What does the rest of the year look like? Where are you guys going to be at? Can people come see some shows? You got some new music on the go? What's going down?
Well, we're about to fly to Boulder to do an E-Town performance. Other than that, the only thing that we really have on the books is a European tour in September. And then we have a couple shows in October, but just a couple. And then we have some stuff on the books for 2025. But I personally, Adam, I'm playing fiddle for this kid, Levi Turner. And he's opening up for this guy named Zach Bryan. So I'm pretty committed this whole year, playing arenas and all kinds of crazy. I got this it's a crazy gig. It's wild.
Right.
But
he's a kid
so
too, eh?
We're
That guy?
actually learning.
Like Levi's a kid, right? He's a very young musician.
Old,
yeah. But a hell of a musician, right? Like
he's great.
He can play like the wind.
Yeah,
he's songwriter.
Cool. That must be fun.
I think he's more of like a really deep soul, old. Yeah. I don't know where this old soul writing comes from, but he's really got it. Yeah. That's great. Cool. Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm really enjoying that process. But yeah, that's kind of taking precedence, and we'll see what 2025 has in store. Yeah. On my own, I'm gonna do a lot of traveling this summer. Hopefully do a lot of writing and that sort of thing too. So I'm going to play. I've got these like little small solo shows I'm doing all up in the northern Midwest and into the mountains, because that's where I'll be traveling. So I put together some house shows and things like that just to make a little extra money and
pay for the gas and travel and all that. So
keep your chops too for the next record.
That's right.
Well,
exactly.
That's great. Cool. Well, it's been a lot of fun, guys. Enjoy your shows today, and you're meeting up with old friends. And David, enjoy your summer. Sounds like it's going to be a great one. And
thank you,
Adam. All the best with your touring schedule. And
thank you.
It's been a real pleasure talking with you, and all the best.
Yeah, great to talk to you too.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Cheers,
all right, so long.
Plowed the trees that line the banks of the riverside. The roots would keep the river low and my old home dry. But the money always finds a good thing going, and it takes it for a ride. Those men, they took all the good wood from my old hometown. They paid fair wage until the trees had all been floated down. And just like the trees, the river carried all the money down to Morgantown. The banks of a river and what flows downstream, what takes the bones and what picks them clean. But what was taken in the name of a good thing going, it will soon